there are many possibilities, but depending on the consciousness you have, you will think a possibility. Thinking a possibility is choosing it into existence. So the more conscious you are, like in lucid dreaming, you can even choose your dreams. That's another level of freedom. But in a waking state, you can choose what will happen depending on your consciousness. For example, mother says, suppose you're supposed to have an accident and you have a consciousness of complete surrender, you don't have an iota of fear, the accident can be averted. I've said this story many times in the Savitri class of the plane crash. You know what I'm talking about. Of a person who just remembered the mother while a plane was about to crash and the whole plane crash was averted. And the mother said that your surrender to me was so complete that my force could act completely and change the collective karma of everyone on the plane. But in the face of an accident, if I'm scared, that scared, fear will invite its own whatever, but at least I'm scared and I pray to the mother. Then I will get wounded, but I won't die, I can recover. And if I don't even pray and I'm just consumed by fear, anything can happen. So these are possibilities, but depending on my consciousness, one of those possibilities gets chosen into existence. And this is true for anything. Forget an accident, an argument you're having, anything. If you keep vibrating at that level of anger and whatever, the outcome is what it's always been. But if in the middle of an argument, you shift your consciousness, you remember the mother, you bring peace into you, the whole outcome changes. It's true for everything. That's what I keep saying, and I re-emphasize. We human beings don't use the one leverage that is the most important. I said this even last class, I'm saying it again. The lever is consciousness. A lever is a simple machine that makes a difficult task easy. That's the physics definition of a lever, right? We have many difficult tasks on hand and we will struggle and we'll do donkey's labor, but we won't use the one leverage all of us have as our birthright, which is consciousness. We don't take the trouble to cultivate that consciousness, to draw from it. So just in this experiment with surrender, Michael Singer had an exam to give, but he was so into his practices that he hadn't studied anything and he didn't even want to give the exam. But it was his experiment with surrender. When his professor asked him to give the exam, he had to say yes because that was part of his experiment. Otherwise, he was going to drop out. He was fully into this path. And then just one day before the exam, he meditated 3 hours and he said, I'm just going to open the book and study 3 things that open at random. And he did that, put it away, went back to meditation. Out of the 6 questions, 3 of them were exactly what he'd opened to. Now, I'm not advising you do that as students. He could do that because he had invested that much into consciousness. So he reaped that much reward. But the more you invest into consciousness, to that level, you will reap rewards.